Okay, so I want to show a little bit about what's going on today. We're getting ready to start some new material with the weekly workshops. So one thing I want to say is previously, the whole goal of this is to work on this IC Bridge project. The IC Bridge project is a big thing having to do with trying to detect ice on the bridges. We spend a lot of time on the web apps, and now we're getting ready to start on GenAI, but I really kind of want to talk about what we're doing in concert with the actual workshops, because we're starting something new, which I think is pretty trivial, and because it's so simple to start, now would be a good time to join. So, and you can kind of get a lot of different technical methods to doing stuff, doing work, and so this is what I want to kind of make a video on. So the first thing is, before I did a lot of stuff in just a terminal, and I'm quite comfortable with it. So here example is it's already up to date. This is where I'm working on this Linux computer. This is not in a Docker, this is Linux, yada yada yada. And this repo, this IC Bridge repo, is where we're putting the code for the front-end web apps that we just spent a little bit of time on. I can deploy them to the cloud here, yada yada yada, but I think it might be better for us all to be able to use code spaces, which are GitHub's method of, you have like a little terminal, you have a shell, and you have Visual Studio, and you can do work up here. I kind of think it's nice. I've been using it a while, and I like it. One thing that up in this section, you've got the web apps that we just got through doing. So there's the FB Testy and its source, and so I can do things like this: npm run dev, and we're going to talk about the GenAI stuff here in a second, but let me just show you this because we finished it. And I can open this browser, and I can kind of see, oh, here's the web app. I can come over here and see if there is, looks like nobody added any recipes, whatever. It will read the recipes. When we're making these, you could add ingredients, and it would, you could type your text in there, and it was unlike over here when you were going to write something. Like if I did a read here, I would have to write this as in this big text area as a string and try to hope that the JSON would determine that it was an array and yada yada yada. This over here, it's kind of more finished. But we could run it there, right? And it's functional. Once again, I can pick a different recipe and do a read. I can do the same thing on the other thing. And we went over like how this app is constructed, how the overall HTML, I can see I've got some dupe text there. And we could talk about where the code is. I believe over here, there's the source code. So all this was public, right? And it says VI editor and DevTools. I do use DevTools, which is, if you're unfamiliar with it, that's this stuff over here for getting the elements. And there's times I've went and edited over here in the sources back in the day. Now I'm not doing that because I'm doing VS Code. With that said, we can also close this. We can come down to the terminal, and I kind of think this is kind of cool. App deploy. So within here, it will deploy to App Engine, and my keys and everything are in this code space, and the source is public, but all these keys are hidden. And and if you're a hacker, please hack me, point out where I'm wrong, because I think it's somewhat protected, and I can show you how I did it, even to say, hey, this is how I did it. Is this truly secure? I think being open is good. So anyway, so let's see if it will upload, and then I'll show you what we're going to do next. probably going to deploy the same thing. It should be relatively quick. Anyway, the notes here, while we're, okay, I think it's going. Actually, I should have changed that code, but I'm not. Okay, so that's deployed. You can either do, like, I could literally go to it, but I could go browse, chef, FB testy, and it's Firebase testy, otherwise, okay, whatever. Let's see, control click. I thought it would open it for me. Yeah, there he is again. If I were to do RTP GCP.org, go to the projects page, that app should be there. Let's go ahead and fix this just to prove that it works, and then we'll talk about the other things. So this would be in public views. This is on the index. So let's just get rid of this one here. We'll save that. Let's try and do this again. Whoops. So we can run it within this context. We can deploy it. So we won't browse it. We'll just make sure that this goes away right here when we refresh, right? Anyway, with that said, well, that's thinking. We've started over in some GenAI, and this is like the bare minimum of GenAI that we're going to be working on. So these notes are kind of GCP centric. But in reality, what we're going to do is we're going to do the stuff that is completely it's not OpenAI, it's not AWS, it's not GCP, yada 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 to begin with. And let's see if I can find the free classes here. In the wrong channel. This is us. I think it's in Goodreads. So this guy's, okay, he's put there. Where did I put, would I put it? I'll put it in free classes. That's Manesh. Manesh comes here and he helps, he participates a lot. So Google's got some open stuff, and there's the ChatGPT stuff, and there's the AWS stuff. So basically, we're going to do the DataCamp stuff first, and then we're going to come to this. And this is like general purpose. It applies to everybody. I think that's the Andrew Ng. That'll be a little harder than this stuff. And I pay to use DataCamp. I've used it in the past. Haven't used it in a while. I don't think like this is the first. Maybe the last stuff I was doing was with R and Python. But we're gonna finish this. We started this today. We're gonna do all of anything that DataCamp has, and then we're gonna switch over to this class, which is also, this one is for free. I think the ChatGPT one may be free, but this is the guy that was one of the founders of Coursera. He did the machine learning class, which was the first one I took in Octave or MATLAB, and it kind of got me started. I think he's fascinating, and if you don't know about him, you should. All right, so that thing worked. Let's see. Refresh. Yep. So we got rid of that, right? So that's good. It's already changed the front to use this new pages. It's not using that distribution network to send out old ones, and we're going to kind of do that style, but now we're going to do that style with this, and we're going to do this for the rest of the year so that we can come up to speed on GenAI and LLMs and see if there's something that we can do in conjunction with these icy bridges. If you remember, I had a hard time locating the bridge scene within the engine as I was using recognition on AWS. But what we're getting ready to do is kind of get back to our ML roots, but we're going to go with a different direction. And we've got the front end kind of on AWS and GCP out of the way. We've got some of the checks for billing out of the way, so I don't get like a huge bill on these things. And I really hope you can join us. That's that. We will pause the recording and I'll upload it to YouTube, and then I'll post this on LinkedIn. And I will just remind you, contact me on LinkedIn, follow, and then you'll see. I'm not asking you to follow for any like purposes or hit. I don't put any ads on this, but just so that you'll see the weekly post when I post the workshop URLs. They're held Saturday at 9 a.m. That's not really advertised a lot. That's an hour, like we just got through, from 9 until 10, and then from 10 to 11 and 11 to 12 for the user group centric web hours, and that would be first 10 hours is from first hour at 10 is GCP, the second hour at 11 is AWS, and there's also some AWS classes. So once we get through with the general GCP, general GenAI stuff, then we're going to, for the 1 hour, it will be GCP, and for the AWS hour, it will be AWS. And I think we're going to learn a lot. It may not apply directly to this project, but at least we'll keep the notes relative there. And please join us. I really hope to see you there. Have a good day.